So tomorrow we have a full moon in Aries. I said that I was going to post a video about that. I posted a little thing. I don't know if y'all read it because I don't know what y'all, if y'all really be reading my stuff or y'all just be liking it and keeping it moving. But I posted something. I said I was going to interpret it later. What I posted was from Elias Lonsdale, and the book is called Inside the Degrees. So he goes through each degrees and each sign and kind of gives like his interpretation of the energy. And I like it because it's like weird and like not really a real interpretation. You kind of got to get your own interpretation from it. And I love things like that. I love like everything is open to interpretation. So I like when things give me my own chance to interpret it and what I feel like I get from it. So I'm going to read that, and also I'm going to read something from the I Ching, which the I Ching is what you use to interpret human design. So I'm going to go through because the full moon is 20. It'll be at 5:08 p.m. tomorrow, and it is 20 degrees into Aries, and that is gate 51 in the I Ching, which is the gate of shock. And I actually have that gate activated, so I know a little bit about that energy. So I'm going to share that in my interpretation of the energy. So the thing I posted earlier, I'm going to read it and then like give what I got from it. So it says, an empty courtyard. Nothing is left. Reality is scattered, self obliterated, the familiar rendered irrelevant. Apocalyptic changes, personal and collective, take over. No being, only action. You become a projectile of intent, literally identified with what you can do now. A barren wasteland of an inner world, a thrust outside. Stark and surreal, you feel compelled to dare, pushed over the edge, no going back, destiny is frenzy. And in this wild, volatile mix, creative forces are released that would never have come out any other way, yielding to the role of the purging and cleansing agent of changes. You are unable to wriggle out of anything ever again. So I really like that because I'm going to give y'all a Star Trek reference because that's what I've been watching. Yesterday I was watching Star Trek, and they had encountered a new being who had no sense of linear time. Like, I don't know what time they was using, but like everything in their moment was the past and the future all in one moment. And it was kind of that the humans was trying to show them and explain to them what linear time is. So they were like trying to be like, what do you mean there's a past and a future? Like, they didn't get it. So the only way that they could communicate with the guy was like going into his mental and pulling up images and situations that he had already encountered. And through that, like, they were getting a sense of him. So they kept taking him back to a time where his wife had passed, which was 3 years before that. So he was trying to explain to the being that we have linear time. And through linear time, we learn how to move in the future based off of what we did in the past. But in his mind, like, the creature was in his subconscious. So in his subconscious, the creature kept taking him back to the moment when his wife died and he seen her and he couldn't rescue her. So he kept saying to the being, like, why are you taking me back here? And the being was like, we're not taking you back here, you're taking us back here. So the being was like, you say that you can't exist in the past, you can only exist in the present, and through the present it determines what your future is going to be. But he kept saying, like, you also exist here. And the guy was like, what are you talking about? I don't exist here, this is the past, this is something that happened. And then the being just kept saying, like, I'm in your subconscious and I'm telling you, like, you exist here. So then the guy finally got it, and what it all like ended up being was the guy realized that he was not letting go of the past. He was living in the past, and the past was determining his future, not the present, not each situation that he was presented with in the now. That wasn't shaping his future. The past was actually shaping his future. He was stuck in the past. He was existing also in the now and in the past. So I like that, because with this saying, what was the part that I really felt like that was speaking to? I should start taking notes, but I'm not really a note taker. Like, I kind of just speak and then hope the shit come together for y'all. But hold on. Oh, the barren wasteland, that part where it says nothing is left, reality is scattered, self obliterated, the familiar rendered irrelevant, apocalyptic changes, personal and collective, no being, only action. You become a projectile of intent, literally identify with what you can do now. And I like that, because intent is a out of the word intend, and intend literally just means you had a plan to do some shit. It doesn't actually mean that you did it. You don't even know if you're going to do the shit. You just have an intention of doing it. But sometimes we focus so much on our intentions that we don't get to live in the now. And then, oh, I'm sorry, my phone about to die. I should have charged that. And we also, our reality is scattered, because one of our intentions, and then also like we get caught up in living in the past. So I like that. And then this other part, it kind of goes into my human design, and 50 the moon being in 51, which is the gate of shock. But it says you feel compelled to dare, pushed over the edge, not going back. Destiny is frenzy. And in this wild, volatile mix, creative forces are released that would never come out any other way. Yielding to the role of the purging and cleansing agent of changes, you are unable to wriggle out of anything ever again. So I'm going to read the definition of the gate of shock. And like I said, I'm going to explain that a little bit, because I actually have the gate of shock, so I can relate to that energy. The ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition and adaptation. In times of crisis, when all those around are confused and in disorder, the ability not to succumb to the panic, but to have the will and vitality to survive it alone. The power of the ego to meet challenges alone. So that gate actually comes out of the ego center, which is the heart center. Not everybody has the heart center. Like when you be like, you got the will to do this, you got the will to do that. Actually, not everybody has the will. You have to have that specific center activated for you to have willpower, which means basically willpower is you giving yourself the energy to do something, not outside influences, not people supporting you or anything. Willpower legit means the energy within yourself to do something. So with the gate of shock says that different things happen around you when you're stagnant, to force you to do things and to change your life, because life is not about stagnation. We are made to cooperate with each other, and we are also made to cooperate with nature. So if you are stagnant, it means you're not really doing what you're supposed to be doing. So in the gate of shock, shit will happen around you to shake you up and to force you to make changes. I have that activated, and that is also connected to my G center. So with me having the gate of shock, I am a person who shocks others, and things happen to me to shock me and to do things. It's the gate of initiation. Well, it's connected to the channel of initiation, which means the need to be first. So I have, hold on, I'm going to restart this video because my shit is okay. So I was talking about the 51st gate, which is the gate of shock, and it is in the ego center. And I was saying, with the gate of shock, I have the energy to shock others, and also life is more prone to making me deal with shocking situations in order to initiate me and to push me forward. I was saying that it is the gate of needing to be first, and not like needing to be better than others, but people who have that gate activated, which when the full moon is in that specific gate, that means that we all will have that activated. I just have insight on it, like I said, because I have that gate activated. So I'm going to share it from my perspective and what I deal with in order to like let y'all know what is going to be brewing. So with that, what was that? What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, the need to be first is not the need to be better, but people who have that gate activated are have the need to be first, as in when life shocks them, like you kind of got to push forward and step into new energy. And that's why it's the gate of needing to be first, because when you step into new energy, you kind of got to let go of what you see others doing around you and what you were taught, and step into your power. Basically, it's an individual gate, and gates that are individual gates are people who kind of got to take the journey. They're considered warriors. They're people who have to take the journey on their own, and through that journey, either people recognize the energy and they want to come along, or they see where it leads you to and they want to know, like, hey bitch, how you do that? So that's what the needing of being first. I have to step into certain situations and things that other people don't believe in, and like let go of the fear and do that. And with the gate of shock, with everything like energy, there's always a reactive nature and a repressive nature. And with the gate of shock, the repressive nature, because like I said, shock means like crazy shit be happening in your life in order to make you not be stagnant anymore, in order to make you like rebuild and start shit over. The repressive nature of the gate of shock is deep depression, because it's I don't be preparing for shit. And one day I'm gonna be respectful to y'all and act like a professional. My phone stopped recording because I didn't have enough memory, so I had to delete some things. But I was talking about the gate of shock and saying how recently I was dealing with something. So there is, with all energies, there is a repressive nature of the energy, and then there is a reactive nature of the energy. And that's like with anything in life, you got to find the balance. You're either going to repress it, which repressing is just as horrible as being reactive, because when you repress, all you doing is fighting that. Like, the power doesn't go anywhere, the energy doesn't go anywhere, it's only turning within yourself. So just how you will react and act crazy as fuck, if you repress it internally, you're acting crazy as fuck, driving yourself crazy as fuck. And I'm prone to repressing because I don't believe in acting like a fool. So I guess I'd rather hurt myself than hurt others. I'm learning to not do that anymore. But the repressive nature of the gate of shock is deep depression. And think about it, because like if the gate of shock is things happening in life for you to make a change, but you repressing the change and you're staying stagnant, now you're looking at life like, oh, all these things keep happening to me. Every time I try to bust a move, this happens. Every time I try to do this happens. Focusing too much on the story. And I was going to share a story about like how like when I repress, it comes out in ways that kind of like be making me feel like, damn, something always happened. But like these days, like I'm quick and I fix it because I just pay attention. Like recently I was saying that I don't want to work night shift anymore. It's not working for what I want to do for myself and how I want to earn money outside of these jobs that ain't enough to pay my motherfucking bills. And it's also messing with my ability to mother how I want to mother. Night shift, like I'm always tired. I'm either going to sleep from the shift that I just worked that night, or trying to catch a nap to have energy for the shift that I'm about to work, and I'm just not feeling it. So a couple weeks ago, I was saying that I wasn't feeling it, but I didn't do anything to change that. I just like knew that I wasn't feeling it. I knew I didn't want to do it anymore, and I kind of was just like, I don't know if I was expecting something to fall out of the sky and be like, hey, heard you don't want to work night shift anymore. But I didn't put any moves to change that. So out of nowhere, I started oversleeping and just like being at work and getting ready for work and not feeling like I don't want to do this, I don't like this, like real like like feeling like real inside. And it was actually like that oversleep shit, it was like making me feel like I was about to lose my job. And like for a second, I just was like really annoyed because it's like, why am I oversleeping? Like this doesn't happen. I was embarrassed that I had to explain to my supervisor that I was late because I overslept. Like, I don't even know if that's a legit reason to be late to work. I don't know. But I was just like trying to figure out like why all this was happening, and it was kind of like bothering me because now I'm like in a position like, well, what if I lose my job? Like this is what I'm gonna have to do. Like just all these things was running through my mind and bothering me, and then out of nowhere it just clicked like, bitch, you did this. You knew that you wasn't feeling this anymore. You knew that you didn't want to work night shift anymore. And instead of you doing something to change that, you just kept going with it. So something had to happen to interrupt that pattern because clearly you weren't going to do it. So that's kind of like with me, the gate of shock. Like if I don't do anything to change, like life does not let me be stagnant, basically. If I don't do anything to change a situation that I'm not feeling, or if I get a call in to do something and I don't act, things around me either fall apart or like just keep getting worse and making me feel worse internally until I bust a move. So y'all all about to have that gate activated. Good luck with that shit. The reactive nature of the gate of shock is hostility. And I used to deal with that like more so when I was younger. I'm not really hostile anymore, but the hostility of fearlessness, because if you keep getting through things and you see that things happen to you and somehow you find a way to get through it, and you like your ego gets involved because it's in the ego center, the heart center, you can start feeling fearlessness, feeling like you can overcome anything. And sometimes when you feel like that, it kind of makes you put yourself in dangerous situations, and also like not really not have a real sense and respect for human life. And I remember my mom saying to me that I used to get in trouble a lot because I was one of those children who I kind of thought that I was right and everybody else was wrong, and don't really tell me what to do because I know what's best for me. And my mom used to say to me that she had to instill fear in me. She used to beat my ass. She said that she used to beat my ass because she had to instill fear in me. I was one of those kids that like nothing, I was going to do what I wanted to do. So she had to at least let me know that it was going to be consequences to my actions. And through that, I can figure out if the thing was worth it or not. She just was like, it was nothing else that she can do except try to make me scared, because like there was just no fear in me. Like even like teenager growing up, like in relationships, I do remember feeling like I can handle anything. It didn't really matter to me. Like I had to care about my own outcome in order to not do things, because like I still really don't have like life as in like I have fear. I'm not about to act like I'm totally fearless, because clearly I don't make certain moves in life because of that type of fear. But I mean, as far as like my life and stuff like that, there is no real fear in me. Sometimes I have to remind myself like, bitch, you're not invincible. And that is my overreact, because I've been through so many things and I'm still here. It's kind of like, you know, I kind of said all of that to explain the gate of shock. Like you got to find that balance. You got to know that just because shit is looking crazy, it don't mean that you can't keep going. It don't mean that you can't rebuild. It don't mean that life is happening against you. Like I feel like so I can't be the only one that deal with that. It's like just feeling like sometimes like I always say to like my friends when I be talking to them, like I always do what I gotta do. Like in the end, sometimes I do feel like, well, I'm learning now to say that because like I do need rest. I'm not a robot, and I have to remind myself that I'm human. But sometimes I say to my friends, like I'm tired of sticking and moving. I feel like I'm a fucking Capricorn. I'm an Earth sign. I like to feel grounded. And it's been a long time since like I've been grounded in one place, but I also was stagnant for a long time. I also was involving myself in things and people that were not for me, and I had to see what my power was so that I can grab hold of it and do what I got to do. So I get that, but stability is very important to me. Like that, I'm working hard to have that. Like I want to be sitting retired, like sipping lemonade in my rocking chair real soon. That's stability to me. Like I don't want to, like, I don't know, I'm tired of sticking and moving. I want to find that stability, but you got to know that it's okay to stick and move. Like that life is going to happen, like, and life is not about stagnation. You got to be able to stick and move and be okay with it. You got to rest when you're meant to rest, because like know that that shit is going to kick up like when it's time to kick up. And that's what the gate of shock is about, like just knowing that it's all a process for your transformation. So, with all that being said, this full moon is about letting go of the past, not existing in the past like the nigga in Star Trek said, learning that life is going to shake you up, might drop you off somewhere. Like, where did it take Dorothy? She was far from Kansas, and might do that Dorothy shit with you, but like you'll be okay. Like it's okay. You have to get shooken up sometimes in order to transform, and that's cool. So I feel like that's what this new moon is about. Knowing that you can only exist in the now, knowing that you can only do what you can do in the moment, but knowing that it ain't gonna always look easy or be easy, and that's cool. Like you gotta remain